Hello Americans, hello patriots, hello freedom-loving people, hello gun owners, and let's get right to it. Once again, we had another shooting yesterday in Tulsa, Oklahoma. 4 people were dead, 10 more were hurt, and the guy just went to a second floor of a medical facility and just started shooting himself, and was later found dead in his home next to a so-called semi-automatic rifle and a handgun after he blew himself away. Now, if only this guy had done this, had chosen himself to be the first one afflicted, things would be a lot better. But we're seeing a whole hell of a lot of mass shootings lately during the whole, I'm sorry, if you don't like conspiracy theories, well, the facts are in front of you. The Durham case, the whole Roe v. Wade case, all the dirt that's coming out on Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Hunter Biden, the lies politicians, Burisma over in the Ukraine. This thing's designed to do one thing only: take you of your gun rights because they want your firearms. Now, you might as well just call Uvalde, Texas, as the Hurricane Katrina version of mass shootings, because we saw the government on the local, county, and state level fail to the point where we had to see the Border Patrol and the U.S. Marshals come in and do the job they failed to do. To the point where we saw the local authorities taser, pepper spray, and handcuff parents from going in because they got sick of these police officers standing there and doing nothing. Now, if you think I'm an LEO basher, you're talking to one for 25 years and counting. But what we saw down in Uvalde, Texas was absolutely pathetic. It was kind of like Columbine all over again, when the regular cops got there, wanted to go in, and they were told to stand down because, nope, you wait for SWAT. Because back then, that was the elitist macho attitude of a lot of these law enforcement departments. You wait for SWAT. Okay, so we wait for people to get murdered before the big guys show up. Makes a hell of a lot of sense. Now, granted, that changed over the years, but we're seeing a lot of incompetence with this Uvalde, Texas, as well as we saw in Parkland in Florida. And I'm telling you right now, you can easily make the case. Those cops that arrested, pepper sprayed, and tased those people could be arrested and should be tried for an accomplice to a murder. Because as they were sitting there and standing around doing nothing, they stopped people from using justified physical and deadly physical force to save their kids. And when you do that, I don't care if your uniform has a badge, you're just as guilty. And it's amazing, we had to watch a Border Patrol agent off duty go in with his AR and help evacuate kids, something the local cops would not do. They were just standing around there for about a period of 1 hour doing nothing. Listen, the same group of people, the left, that say they hate law enforcement, are the same group of people that have been telling you for years they're the only ones in the military who should have weapons. And yet government fails over and over again. Again, I'm not LEO bashing, but they always get there after the fact. And the fact that this school resource officer was not in Uvalde that day is a head scratcher. The fact that the door was left wide open for him is a head scratcher. But we keep hearing that story change. It was open, it was closed, it was open, it was closed. Right now, I don't believe a word any of these people say. And let's just say it was closed as a glass door. He could have taken that AR-15 and put a couple of holes through that thing. And that door was not going to stop anybody. It was not going to stop a person like him. But this is also shaping up to be another Sandy Hook, where unless we get someone like Donald Trump back in office, we're never going to know the true story about Sandy Hook High School. We're never going to know the true story about Uvalde, Texas, as well as Las Vegas. Because these 3 people who have all the shooting have all been killed. The timelines and the police story have been messed up so many times that they're constantly changing. That should be a red flag for you that something is terribly wrong here, among other things. And Now we're seeing in Canada with Trudeau yesterday. He says he wants to put a freeze on handgun sales. When a year ago, with a stroke of a pen, he pretty much put a freeze on military rifles. Now, if you don't think that's going to try to come down here, you're mistaken. What did Joe Biden say the other day? He also now wants to ban 9mm handguns. Great, Trudeau, Biden. Tell you what, start with your own protection first. Disarm them and lead by example. Until then, you guys are full of crap, and we're not going to have it. Now you added, in fact, what happened yesterday in Tulsa, Oklahoma. A madman on the second floor of a medical building, opening fire, hurting 10, killing 4, and then blew himself away. I think we can honestly say that MK Ultra here is in full effect. And the fact that they don't like the fact that the whole Roe v. Wade thing is about to be overturned. I'm sorry, you have to put this into effect if you've been really paying attention to everything. But the narrative from Buffalo, New York died because even though I kept saying white supremacist, white supremacist, white supremacist, the guy was a devout leftist. He was a supporter of the Azov Battalion, the Nazis in Ukraine. He also admitted he was an environmental zealot, which means he's a leftist, and he chose New York because of the gun laws favored him as well. They proved they did favor him because he had free reign. The security guard that was there shot him a few times, but because he wore armor, he was taken out. He probably should have shot him right in the throat or right in the lower part of the face to take him out, assuming if he had a clear shot, because the good guys are accountable for every bullet we fire. That's the difference between us and the bad guys. The bad guys have already chosen that their life and their freedom is worth giving up, and it's worth dying for also, which in the case of Sandy Hook, Uvalde, Texas, Buffalo, Tulsa yesterday also, and Las Vegas. And again, please tell me how that 18-year-old who came from, I guess what we call a Texas middle class family, was able to buy 2 Daniel Defense rifles, 1,000 rounds of ammo, some pretty decent optics, body armor, and a bulletproof helmet, almost worth about 10 grand worth of stuff. Where'd that money come from? Same thing with the Buffalo shooter. Buffalo shooter was only 18 years old. Where did he get all that money from? And again, we're seeing a pattern here of mental health officials that do their job. The FBI knew about these 2 and didn't put them on the so-called red flag list. So the red flag laws on the federal level and here in New York failed miserably. But yet, the left, these are the people they want to entrust with your safety. Folks, do not give up your guns. Do not register your guns. Don't give up your freedoms. Because we've seen a rise in crime in Canada, what Trudeau is doing. We saw what happened in the UK and Australia. We also saw the Australian people put their people into internment camps when they weren't feeling so good. Does that sound familiar? Don't worry, we just want to take away one gun. Well, it never happens that way. It never happens that way. Anyway, folks, keep the country in prayer. God's in control. Jesus Christ is still King. Pray for your country. Stand for your rights. Do not give up your freedoms, and we'll talk to you later.